Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is News Done Differently. It is Monday, the 18th day of 2022, 10:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are live with tonight's report. It is a cold night here where I am at, and I hope for you that you're somewhere warm and well taken care of. I wish blessings upon everybody on this Easter Monday. We begin with our look around the European and Middle Eastern portion of our world. We start down here in Yemen. We're going to have a story coming up about this is U.S. occupation forces were supposedly deployed to Aden in Yemen earlier to protect, quote, presidential council. Saudi-led forces supposedly, along with dozens of U.S. troops, went to Yemen's southern port city of Aden as a security measure. And then also, Yemen is reporting that they had thwarted an American attack in the Red Sea. They say on Monday, forces thwarted a naval attack by U.S. forces deployed off Yemeni territorial waters. Military sources confirmed that naval military patrols of the U.S. and Western forces tried to penetrate into Yemeni waters near the coast of the Hodeidah governorate, but they were unsuccessful. And it goes on to say that sources pointed out that the Navy confronted the American battleships and boats and forced them to retreat from the scene after some boats caught on fire. This is all from inside Yemen. There are no outside reports of any of that. I'll be watching for it over the remainder of the night and into the coming day. And if that is indeed confirmed, we will confirm it. But I'm highly skeptical that happened. If it happened, I'm highly skeptical it happened the way it was reported. But nonetheless, we need to make make that known, because there are so many things coming. A lot happened today. For those that you only watch this show to find out what's going on. A lot has happened today, and one of the things that happened today was that the COVID mask mandate has been removed, as far as the Department of Transportation had put restrictions on all public transit, on buses, planes, trains, and that has been found to be illegal by a judge in Florida. And the judge in Florida was appointed by Trump and approved after Trump lost the election, and had never tried a case before, and was made a judge. Very similar way that a Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, was appointed to the Supreme Court and confirmed, and had never tried a case in court. With that being said, Monday, April 18th, 2022 COVID update: 52,812 new cases in the United States, with 212 hospitalizations and 282 deaths. So masks aren't going to be required in mass transit, and that is, I'm sure a lot of people are cheering that, but please do not think that COVID is over. United States tomorrow is convening a meeting on with the heads of France, Germany, Britain, Canada, Italy, Poland, and Romania. And they're going to be discussing Russia's new offensive in Ukraine. Things really have kicked off in the eastern part of Ukraine. And we'll go back over here to our map, and we'll look at the area we're going to be talking about here coming up. It is the Donbass region, basically from here down to just to the east of Mariupol. This area is known as the Donbass, and this has been a breakaway area controlled with the help of Russia by pro-Russian separatists here, pro-Russian separatists down here on Crete, and pro-Russian separatists right over here in an area called Transnistria. And we haven't talked much about that, but that might be coming in the news coming up. But so this area has really kicked off tonight. So that that front is definitely active, as we'll show you here coming up in just a moment. As soon as I get to just so that you can get a visual and a sound of what began earlier this afternoon, my time, but obviously began tonight.
Наношу вогневе ураження. Противник, не рубежіть більше.
Now, a lot of the people that we reference on this show, a lot of the people that I'm in correspondence with, they are in this area, and it's going to be a long 10 days to 2 weeks that this battle is probably going to be going on, and we're just seeing the very beginning of it tonight. And it is going to be a very deadly battle, and Russian troops are coming by the day. They're being sent by the day, the conscripts, those that have been drafted and have gone through a very, very basic military preparation are being sent to those front lines. And we will be talking about it, obviously. Also, while we're here on the maps, again, just real quick, this basically entire area is where the fighting is going to be. As far as land fighting, the front line is approximately right here, and Dnipro right here is a key target for Russia. Mariupol right here, who you've heard a lot about on this program, and probably in mainstream media as well. So we're going to buzz down here to Israel, where earlier this evening, a missile was launched from the Gaza Strip. This is the Palestinian occupied area along the coast. A missile was launched from the Gaza Strip. It was taken out by the Iron Dome Israeli defense system, and then Israel launched a series of airstrikes into Gaza. So one of the airstrikes there, and we did this a year ago, but quite honestly, it feels different this time. Back to Ukraine. This I just found amazing.
Единственное, что спасло мою жизнь, це телефон за 20 тисяч. І жетон, які мені видали.
Ось що.
Let me do this one more time here. It appears to be a 7.26 round that his phone stopped from going into his kidney area, basically, and probably killing him.
Ось що, жетончик, їбать. Через ксіву чи... Перельоти такі пішли, слава Богу.
І ці гандонів не так, як нас 5.45, а 7.62, блядь.
Плюс.
He said, you better hold on to that phone. Are you crazy? You think I'm going to let that thing go? It's going to be with me forever.
Оп. То це одних.
So, just a little lightness in an incredibly heavy episode, and then indeed, this is an incredibly heavy episode. I mean, we're talking about the bombing of in Gaza again, okay. Talking about the bombing in Gaza again, and I hope it's a one-time event and it's not escalatory. But again, it just feels different this time than last time, and things are set up differently this time than last time. A year ago, when things kicked off between the Palestinians and Israel, there was a bunch of destruction in the Gaza that has not been obviously has not been repaired or replaced, and Israel has moved all of its they've moved the Dome of the Rock, or the Iron Dome defense, from the perimeters, the border areas, into the center of the country to protect from attacks in all direction. I think that's probably why the U.S. Navy is off the coast of Yemen, just because we probably have Israel's back. which is why I led with that story. But again, it's not confirmed that that any of that happened, and I hope to have it confirmed because it all ties together. But this time, Israel has they've moved the Iron Dome into the center of the country to protect from all sides, and quite frankly, the buzz on both sides is, as we've shown, Israel has taken worshipers out of the Dome of the Rock, Al-Aqsa Mosque, even during prayer. And there's been confrontations. And after each confrontation, they clear the area and Jewish settlers go in. And that did not happen today. I'm sorry, it did. It happened yet again today, earlier today. Which prompted a bunch of protesting and violence and injuries, and we could fill a whole episode. There's chatter on both sides that Israel is going to try to remove the Dome of the Rock, and if that were to happen, the concept behind it is biblical, even though Israel is a secular state. When it comes time to use God for a reason, they will. Okay. It's, and I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that as a fact, not as a judgment. So, because the United States does too. The idea is they can't rebuild the third temple in Jerusalem as long as Al-Aqsa Mosque is there. And those that want to escalate Armageddon understand the prophecies that the temple has to be rebuilt before all the other steps or for the actual end to happen. And it's quite troubling on a number of levels, and it's something we are going to stay focused on. Okay, so I don't, without getting too into religion, all right, because religion has caused a lot of war and a lot of death, and we're going to see more. This is just another example of what happened in Ukraine tonight. This is cluster munitions. We've shown this, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. These are illegal, especially using in civilian areas like they're being used here. And we've talked about it. One missile comes down, the cone comes off, and multiple projectiles spread out from that single missile. Then those individual projectiles ignite. So you have multiple kill ranges, okay? Each ordnance has what's called a kill range, which 7 to 10 feet, 10 to 13 feet, 15 to 20 feet, whatever it may be. It is designed to kill anything and everything in that area. And we had one the other day where we showed it. It's been about a week now. I saw it on CNN the other day. And you'll see a lot of this stuff come up on CNN because eventually they get around to something other than, anyway, I'm not going to slam on CNN because I've got to get through this a little quicker. I was trying to do a quick one here and I get distracted, and I apologize for that. And I thank you all for watching, those that are. And if you're in the chat, just, keep it civil if you're in the chat, and listen to Sissy if you're in the chat. And Sissy, if you're in the chat, thank you very much. And any of the other moderators, if you happen to be in there, thank you. And anybody that's in there, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm going to hop over for and see if anybody has any questions coming up. I'll let you know when that's going to be. I wanted to share this before we get back into some more things going on around the world. This is footage from a single storm chaser on a single day. This was about a week ago in Iowa. And that's just a little reminder that we are in tornado season here in the United States. And it's a little something I get requested every once in a while from people outside the US because they don't get a lot of tornadoes. That tornado footage was cool, show more. So a little something for those that don't ever see tornadoes, and be blessed that you don't, even though I go out and try to photograph them if they're close by, just because they're fascinating. I don't recommend anybody do that. Turkey has launched a new offensive against Kurdish rebels in Iraq. So let's come back over here to our map and just take a look at what we've just talked about so far on this episode. Okay. Turkey has launched a strike on Kurdish rebels in Iraq. Israel has launched a strike on Palestinian Muslims along the West Bank. Yemen says they have thwarted an American attack. Again, that's going to play out to be propaganda, but it will be interesting to see if there was some sort of an engagement. And then we've got Ukraine and Russia up here. Okay. The United Nations, I just got this, United Nations Security Council will convene an emergency closed door session tomorrow to discuss the recent unrest in Jerusalem. The request for the Security Council to meet was made by France, China, Ireland, Norway, and the United Arab Emirates. The Israelis and the Palestinian envoys will not be invited to the meeting. I talked earlier about how President Biden called for a meeting of top European leaders and didn't have anybody in Ukraine. I didn't mention it, but after I read it, it was like, why isn't Ukraine there as well? And here we have the United Nations Security Council meeting and meeting to decide what's going on over Israel and Palestine, and neither one of them are there. I don't know. I'm probably reading more into that than there is, but it's just it seems like bodies are making decisions for countries without the countries there to give their input or anything. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but it certainly appears that way. So I say on here occasionally that I'm nobody, I'm nothing, and I mean that in the manner of as far as people of power. Okay, and most of us are nobody or nothing as far as people of power. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have any power. Doesn't mean we don't have any worth, as I've said many times. It just means that there are people at the top that look at us as just a blob. All right, just a blob, not individuals, not, you know, but they let us divide ourselves by feeding us various sundry things. So CNN Business came out today and says the biggest risk to the global economy no one is talking about. I've been talking about it for about a week now, and so I want to thank CNN for acknowledging me, because I'm no one, and they, you know, they gave me credit for talking about it. That's cynicism. That I don't actually think that. Okay, that was okay for those that may not know. But we're going to continue talking about it, and we're going to show you something here that while CNN mentions that in a business segment, I don't know if they paid any attention to it in the actual TV broadcast where people are paying attention to it. But if they did, they aren't going to show you the significance like this should right here. Anybody that watches the show has seen flight radar. That I use some flight radar. I use maritime radar, and I use satellites. We do a lot of things in open source intelligence. You know, tracking, intercepting calls, and I've got some of those that are going to be coming up tomorrow. But I want to end on this. This is these are the various. Let's just pick one out. I can't do it because I'm not on the app. I've got Scott's. I got Scott's screenshot. If I was on the app, I could click on one of them and just show that these are cargo ships, either with goods and services or with goods and supplies that they cannot deliver into China, raw materials, or these are empty ones that are waiting here and have been waiting for 6 weeks now, and they will still be waiting because the lockdown has gone on for 2 more weeks. Now, Tesla and some other countries are getting around that lockdown, and I'll explain that in just a second. But if you've watched the show, you can just, you know that this is not normal. Okay, this is not normal ocean traffic. So the billions, and actually it's going to be trillions, the trillions of dollars worth of so many different things. 40% of the world's stuff comes from China in one way or another. 4%. Now, you know, well, so we can get by without all that. Yeah, we can. But there are going to be shortages. And when shortages start, hoarding starts. And when hoarding starts, things empty. And when things empty, that's when panic comes. So yeah, we could get by, but we won't. And I say that again, as I say multiple times, don't panic, but prepare. Don't panic, but prepare. Because if it's not wars, if it's not, and these are the things we talked about tonight. If it's not war, if it's not pandemic, if it's not viral, it will be lack of food and breakdown of society. And they've got us ready to break down right now. I wonder if this isn't all a big plan to eliminate a whole bunch of people, because the world's resources are limited. The oil supply is limited. The gold, everything is limited. And the less people are, the less number of people are, the more the affluent can have whatever they want. It's kind of like a, evil supervillain kind of thing. Only instead of one person, there's maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000, maybe 10,000. Not too many, because that defies the point. I certainly hope not, but my gosh, with everything going on, and with the way things are funded too, just makes you wonder. Gives us something to think about, and that's what we do on this program. So thank you very much for watching. As always, it's called News Done Differently, and if on Facebook, thank you for watching. Give it a like, give it a share if you so desire, because on Facebook it only goes out to my friends list, so I don't know exactly if anybody even watches. If you're on Twitter, thank you for watching. Consider giving it a share, give it a recommendation. We tell you things that you're going to hear on mainstream media 4 or 5 days away now, if you hear it at all. And remember what we played on the show the other night. We started the show the other night with mainstream media telling us, people that try to tell you what's going on social media, don't pay attention to them, because telling you what to think is our job. That's what Mika Brzezinski said. So, a whole bunch of information in a short amount of time and a lot to think about. And I am going to hop over into the chat just for a minute and just hello. Hey, Fred, thank you for watching. And thank you all for watching. And we will be back tomorrow night at 10:30. And we'll be back during the day if there's any breaking news. Hopefully there's not. And until then, have a blessed rest of the night. It's News Done Differently.